Planning Board meeting on May 23rd, 2019. First, Chip wants to introduce our new land use coordinator person.
Gentlemen, we have a new land use coordinator. This is actually me reinvented.
You're a lot better looking.
Kelly Dearborn Luce, this is your illustrious board, minus Bruceville Ward. Craig Francisco, who's the chairman. Neil Kirk, who you already know as the road complainant. Jack Meany, selectman's rep, and Frank Chuck Bolton.
I'll help you.
As the
Thank
guy
you.
who turns the TV on.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to change the agenda around a little bit because we have one item that's not going to take very long. We have a request to remove a section of stone wall from Jack Dearborn on Gold Road, map 411, lot 94. There's an existing 22-foot wide barway, and he needs to make it 28 feet wide, so that's to widen it 6 feet. So we need to make a recommendation to the selectmen about that. I have color pictures if anybody wants to see them. I saw those before.
Question?
Yes,
Jack, will you be,
yes, you have to go.
Yes, they are.
I understand this is for a logging operation. When the logging operation is finished, will you be replacing the stones?
Either that, I gotta get a bigger gate,
Would you
so
be-
I'll replace the stones.
Thank you. Do you have any questions?
Anybody else have any questions? Comments, suggestions? Go for it.
I move we recommend to the selectmen that Mr. Dearborn be allowed to remove 6 feet of existing stone wall temporarily to widen his barway to allow a logging operation to occur. And the recommendation would be that at the conclusion of the operation, the wall be restored.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstained?
Thank you.
That was quick. And the pictures back there.
You want the pictures?
No, I forgot her name already. What's your name? Kelly. I was close. Dominique Kelly, it's close. If I call you Dominique, don't worry about it.
Dominique?
Yeah,
Okay,
Dominique.
I'll answer to
I
that.
don't know why, but I guess you look like a Dominique. The next item on the agenda is Law Road Investments, 5-lot subdivision, map 411, lot 358 on the northwest side of Law Road in the RA zone. First, we got to accept the application is complete. Mr. Carr did send in a well-read, well-worded email, but he just came up and said that I don't have to read it. It's no longer valid, so. Do we have any plans to topo on them?
I don't think so.
Do we have any final plans to topo on them? Yeah. I don't have them.
Where are the 5 lots? 1, 2,
Three.
last time he was here.
What's that?
The Low Road one?
Does this show everything? No, this is just,
Well, it's everything. That's what we.
where are the 5?
That's the second.
It's not everything.
It is. You see?
Doesn't have the sense.
It's all right there. Ah, okay.
I found them, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But not the small
I've
version.
seen something here, Craig.
Which line is this line?
This is this.
Want
You're
this back?
smiling at your last meeting. You're smiling because it's your last meeting.
Yeah. Going fishing.
Jack, do you want this set? This is Jack.
Yeah, I got the small one out. It's easier to handle.
Okay.
You want top on it? No, we can put it down, yeah. You want the bigger one? No, but I took it, what the hell? We need it.
You got room, we're good.
What?
I see, here's 358.
Before, I believe. Yeah. Remember, it was the debate over the cistern or where the driveway was gonna be.
So this is not the guy who came to us before. He was closer to Perkins Pond Marsh.
No, he came to us before.
This is the same one?
This one sheet.
Jack came to us before, and it was a discussion about where the driveways were gonna be and about a
You were here
cistern.
last time. Was this 4 or 5?
Five, what do you mean?
About dropping it down because of the fire department.
The cistern. Yeah.
He had a driveway coming in here that was really, had a lot.
Right, and we were gonna have a shared driveway or something.
That's what he's doing now.
It's, the pen colors are awful. That's why you have black and white.
Yeah, we had the discussion before about 4 or 5, whether it triggered the cistern and,
It was 4 or more.
right, so he's
So it
got,
wouldn't have helped him to go to 4.
but he's, and the other part was because of, wetlands going over for driveways through the wetlands, wasn't that part of the discussion?
that's steep.
It was one.
Steep fill.
Yeah.
Looks like everything's there.
No. Tom, what do you want a waiver on that Tom objected to?
Topo.
And he-
But
he's got it.
He's got it, right.
Yep.
I need to download the right zoning thing someday.
Is this a problem?
You guys wanna chit chat? Go
Oh, yeah.
outside. Your name, Mike?
Easy to fix, though. Wants to make a motion to accept this complete.
Why? Is it?
Yeah.
No waivers requested?
Not for completeness, because we have waivers for additional information, but we don't need to, we don't get those yet.
Any issues on completeness? I move that we accept the application as complete.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? I guess that was unanimous. I didn't hear Chuck. Mr. Belanger.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Our pleasure.
I have that, report of the diesel.
You don't.
All right, for the record, my name is Jacques Belanger. I'm a surveyor that's prepared the application for Lull Road Investments. What we have is a 28-acre tract. I think it's on the, I guess it is, on the northwesterly side of Lull Road. What we're doing is breaking it up into 5 residential house lots. We've got, we're required to have a 5-acre zoning. It's rural agricultural, 250 on frontage. We exceed all that. We do have 2 lots. We've had our wetlands map delineated out there and located. Doesn't really show up well in the color print. And we've got two lots we are showing with a common driveway to avoid the wetlands and the wetlands buffer, the 25-foot buffer. That's 358, 358-1. Everything else is its own driveway, independent of sharing one. We don't anticipate any state permits. We're not dredging any wetlands or impacting any wetlands. We're above 5 acre lot sizing for a state subdivision application. So hopefully, other than that, it's a pretty straight up application. One thing we did have is the abutter was concerned about the steep slopes on the easterly side. With any type of cutting or clearing that might take place on that steep slope, not being able to stabilize it. And we spoke this morning about putting a no-cut buffer, no disturb buffer. And I've shown that as a hatched area on this side here where the steep slopes go down towards their property. And the owner doesn't have any issue with doing that. And I'll end up I did put a detail up here on the corner of the plan. We'll put that on the recorded sheets. We don't have it. I put it on this morning.
What's the hatched?
It's wetlands.
You don't, I'm sorry, the dark hatch on yours?
Yeah.
That's the wetlands, the wetland boundaries. Anything within that hatch is wetlands. It doesn't.
That's a different hatching from the one you're proposing.
What I've just talked about is this hatching up here. It's not shown in your plans. I spoke with Cars this morning about it. But it doesn't impact our building sites or anything with developing those two lots, actually. It's on lot 358-3 and 358-4, towards the back of those. We do have a utility easement that passes through 100 feet wide. Our building park for that lot is going to be on the southerly side, closer to the road. The next lot,
Where's that utility easement?
it's right here. It'll be on the second sheet.
So where's the house going?
That's the utility. It's gonna be up here someplace.
Yeah, up in this corner here.
Mine
Test pits, we have test pit logs on the plan there for you.
coincide with his.
So we definitely have a building pocket for a home and house and all site without impacting
They have it on these plans when they printed it, so
any wetlands or
that's the
encroaching
slope.
on the easement.
The rest of it's in there. Read those switches. See right here. Yeah, okay, I got it. It's all coming to me.
Yep. So why not continue that non-disturbance or
Yeah.
whatever easement you're talking about, restriction on the east side to include the northeast corner?
Up in here?
Yeah,
We can.
I mean, if you're gonna do it, you might as well cover that.
Sure.
That's just a steep,
What about this?
There's no issue. It doesn't impact the building pocket, so I don't think there's any issue with doing that. This was brought up this morning, and we really didn't have much time to do much with it. So we could definitely probably extend that right to this common,
yeah, right to the front. Yeah.
and,
That-
yeah, we'll put a meets and bounds description on that. I'm sorry, yeah.
That's okay.
Okay.
I just see where you're going.
Oh, one thing I didn't mention, and you probably already know, we did meet with the fire wardens about the cistern.
Yeah, I was gonna read that and I forgot.
Okay. They've, they're
should-
willing to, let the developer put in-house suppression, as opposed to the cistern. That's the direction they're willing to go with that. And there's no other plan addressing that, I think it's note number 8.
Yes, the fire department did send us a letter saying that they met with Mr. Belanger on April 8th. The following action was taken. The board gave permission to proceed as follows. All driveways to meet the driveway standard for 1 and 2 family dwellings as contained in the town of Weare subdivision regulations. I think he meant zoning ordinances, but anyway. In lieu of the required cistern, accepted offer from developer to design and install automatic sprinkler systems NFPA 13D in all 1 and 2 family dwellings and or manufactured homes, and add sprinkler requirement to deed or plan. I assume NFPA 13D is where it says what size the,
Residential system.
residential
That's,
sprinklers.
okay, what I'm trying to say is, note 8 says nothing about the size of the tank in the house.
That's 13D does.
Okay, so
that's-
can you say per NFPA 13D in note 8? And can you also add that this restriction to be placed in any deeds?
Oh, sure, yeah, okay.
Add that to the note. I didn't hear anything from the Conservation Commission, did you? Or anybody else?
I think they went on vacation.
I know they didn't meet last
They
month.
haven't been around for a while.
The police had a note about, which I'm not gonna find right away, I buried it already, I'm good at that. After reviewing the plan, I would like to make one suggestion referencing emergency response lot 358 and 358-1 would have a common driveway if approved. From my experience, these common driveways typically split and are unmarked, making locating the address more difficult, potentially delaying emergency response. If this is the case, I would suggest clearly marking each address. And Chip mentioned that I think he's talking about where the driveway splits,
Yeah,
not at the road.
not the mailboxes. that-
Yeah, not the mailbox, but it's a split. So can we make some kind of note about that in the common driveway? You want a copy of this?
Yeah, maybe. So you want,
A note added to the plan saying that when you pull in the common driveway, wherever it splits, obviously to the right's gonna be for lot 358-1. You're gonna have some kind of sign of the street
Yeah.
with the address and the,
yeah, no, I know what you mean, yeah, it's just,
I don't know how to word the note right now either.
yeah,
but
I'm
that's-
not- it's, yeah, okay.
How long is that common driveway?
That was my
I think
question.
it's quite long. I didn't bring a scale with me,
Over 400 feet?
I believe so. I'm not positive, but I believe so.
So he's going to need a passing area,
A passing
which
pull
should
off.
be marked on here.
Oh, yeah, well over 400 feet.
He'll need to take his driveway permit application down to the fire department to be reviewed by the Board of Fire Wards before anything can be issued on those two lots.
For a building permit,
Yeah.
right. Does that need to be addressed at this level for the, at the planning
Can you-
board?
No, that's
No.
part of the driveway permit.
Yeah, package,
You'll-
yeah.
You'll automatically go to the Board of Fire Wards.
Right.
Can you change note 9 to say instead of subdivision regulations, says, design requirements of Article 36, where zoning ordinance?
Sure.
I think we took it out of the subdivision regulations. Even so, I'd like to see how that grading on this one,
There's
lot
a,
358-3.
there's a profile view in your package.
Do all of the driveways meet the 10%?
We
minimum?
have
Maximum.
one that's 10% for the white, yeah. Should be a third or fourth sheet.
Do you see it? 'Cause I don't.
I see the profile, but what I'm wondering, is the grading right there gonna hit the buffer?
That is lot 358-3.
Yes.
We didn't grade out the whole thing.
Looks like you're in here.
Okay.
You got,
Oh, you mean to fit the buffer?
this is a buffer, 25
That's a
feet,
25
25-foot
foot
buffer.
buffer,
This is setback.
Yep.
50-foot setback, so you can disturb in the setback, but you can't disturb in the buffer.
Yep.
I just wanna make sure the driveway's not gonna disturb in the buffer.
All right, and we can add a note in there about retaining if necessary.
I might be wrong where I am.
Who is 20 B and B Lane? Who's there, do you know?
Well Road Investments, it's,
No, is that John Brown?
it's Gary Schwing's office.
But not John Brown. I'm just trying to remember where that one is.
I think they're the first.
14 B and B.
14 is Brown.
That's what my building is.
Thank you.
Yeah, you got somewhere around 15 feet of cut right next to that wetland buffer.
What?
Gary,
Yeah.
You mean the cut's going to disturb the buffer?
Depends how he builds it. It's gotta be 16 feet all clear, you're gonna want some kind of ditch there. Yeah, but you're right here with the, beside the buffer. Because you're sneaking through this ridge. That's the ridge. And that's about
Well,
10, 15, 18 feet cut.
So, what we're up for is 5 feet, right?
No, 5 feet, okay.
So we're
it's not all of it.
5, 10, or less than 10.
Let's see.
So 50 scale, yeah, it's easier.
Yes, 9.5, 10 feet of cover.
4K area.
Okay, yeah, I was going 10 feet. Don't leave that lay there, I'll steal it. I'm being honest, I will steal it.
I'll watch it.
One thing Neil noticed real quick, on lot 3358-2, the well race is overlapping the 4K area. So you gotta move the well race a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
It's not a big deal.
Yep.
What lot number was that?
358-2.
Got it, thank you. From an economic point of view, is the cost of the sprinklering of 5 houses less than the cistern?
I think it's a better package altogether. It's more sound than fire department trying to get you. I think that's where they're
It's
going for it.
50% the cost of the system, with the practicality of the system, the fire suppression acts instantly versus waiting for the fire department to hook up to the system. So it's more protection for the family and the people that live there. I mean, the question I asked the fire warden is, what would you have in your home? And they all said, a sprinkler system, you know? So I guess it wasn't the cost as much as the impracticality of the town maintaining a system in the middle of nowhere. And for the people that have fire suppression, they actually get a reduction in their insurance on their home. And it's safer for their family.
So what happens to those houses if the fire suppression does not suppress the fire for whatever reason? It starts and it,
I would think by then somebody has fire department.
but what do they do for water?
Got its
There's
own
no
water-
cistern.
it's got its own water
I
system.
guess there's plenty of homes where there's no cisterns within reach of the home, but they
They-
don't have fire suppression at all.
They have their own
Well,
system.
Perkins
They got
Pond
some
is
on-
just-
It's a charge system. They have a charge, just like in a commercial building. They have
Yeah,
a,
but
they put a water reservoir in there. And all that is to give the people time to get out. It's not to put the fire down. It suppresses it enough so people can escape. It's not saving the structure.
And the best time to put a fire out is as soon as it starts.
Yeah.
You know?
It may put it out if somebody's in the chair and you get the thing over it and you got a cigarette and it starts, it'll probably put it out, but I mean, it's designed to give you time so the people can get out, not to put the fire out. That's the misconception of sprinklers. They're not there to put the fire out. They're there to suppress it and to suppress it.
how
so
many
people can
gallons does
escape.
each tank, does each house have in its tank?
believe the systems they were talking about were live systems right off the well.
Yeah, just
So
put
it's,
an auxiliary.
there's not a storage tank, that's the way I understood
That
it.
system that they requested was a storage tank system, and I don't know all the particulars on it, and that's something that I think we have to get from the fire department, you know. But that's a system that they require to be installed. And by attaching to the deed, no matter who's in that home, it's required to have it.
So a subsequent purchaser couldn't let the system deteriorate?
No, I mean, theoretically.
Legally, I mean.
Legally, they're not supposed to do. And I guess they'd have a hard time selling it if somebody was truly doing the research on it.
Home inspection
You know,
should
if
pick
it's
up on
not
that pretty
working,
quick.
obviously nobody's gonna purchase it.
Anybody else have any questions? Anybody from public?
I do.
Come on up and state your name for the record.
My name's Tamara Celine, and I currently live at 130 Low Road, which is abutting, let me get my glasses. Lot 35B. And since I missed the first 10 minutes or so of this meeting, I'm wondering if the plan is to have the houses built in this circular area? Is that what you're proposing?
Yes, up on that kind of ridge that rides across there.
So my house is right here, so 100 yards. You can see through here, and I'm gonna see a house in my front yard, basically. So we're kind of opposed, my husband and I, to having a house sitting in front of our front yard.
Could you point out where your house is,
Yeah, my house is right here.
and where is your driveway?
It's right down here. Goes down and around, and this, my house sits here.
So you're quite a ways back from the road.
Yes.
500-600 feet.
So how far is it from her house to?
Yeah, 300 feet.
300 feet roughly from your house to the center of that circle.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any vegetation, trees, shrubbery, stuff like that between you and the proposed site?
There is some trees, so when the spring and the summer comes, there are some leaves. I don't know how much land is gonna be cleared, but there's a gap where there isn't any. There's a path that goes from our driveway up through that area. So we have a lot of wildlife that goes through there. Currently, we have bears going through there right now. I'd rather see that particular lot or that area be preserved.
Well, to be honest, there's not much we can do about that.
Yeah,
To be as honest as I can be about it.
yeah. I know, I just figured it was worth a shot to come here
Sure.
because it's very disappointing to move here 7 years ago, to be secluded and away from houses after living in the city, and then to find out there's gonna be a house pretty much planted in our front yard. And no opportunity to present it to us to even buy the lot next door to us.
You can't buy the lot?
Nobody's offered to even sell it from one end.
Well, they
Well, they
can't
can't.
now because it's
They
not
can't-
legal.
They can't sell it yet.
Yeah, so, but I mean, to be,
I'm sure,
Sounds
I'm
like-
sure once I sign the Mylar, you need to give them a call, make an offer, maybe.
yeah.
It will be for sale, I'm sure. Okay, like I said, not much we can do about that, but
Well,
thank you.
we can certainly require that there be no cutting here.
Well, yeah, but no cutting here is gonna be 20, 30 feet below the house in elevation. She's up here in this hill, and he's looking at the top of this hill. And you're talking about not cutting in between, in the valley.
No, it certainly would help. How high are they?
They can't cut in the wetland buffer anyway. And this is 630, this is 660.
And what, but she's over here, which is,
No. I don't know what elevation this is, but it's gonna be roughly, I assume the contours are wrapping around somewhere.
Anybody else?
Do you look up or down from your house to the?
Look up.
One-
Oh, sure.
Hi, I'm Kevin Petrell. I live directly across the street from the two houses with the shared driveway. And I'll have to agree with my neighbor. It's kind of a shame we moved in and into privacy, and now I've got two houses right across the street from me, which I'm going to see. I guess if permitting is all great, I guess there's not much I can do about that. But what I would request is like a privacy hedgerow or something to increase from the driveway towards the wetland in order to preserve privacy between the houses. So that, and to make the gentleman aware that in the 20 years I've lived in that house, this is the first time the town is going to pave in front of my house. So they don't take good care of the road. Okay, thank you.
Some of us have
Thank you.
to wait 25 to 30 years before our roads were paved, so you're doing pretty well.
You should see the road condition.
I saw it.
Where would, sir, where would that hedgerow go as far as you're concerned?
Along the driveway on the Lull Road side.
Could
So
you
down the-
touch it over there so we can see?
All right, so I would say, I'm having a hard time seeing
The driveway, there's
shared
that,
driveway.
that's right there.
That's, so, on the south side of the driveway. There's the driveway. Yeah. You know, some trees or some high
Well, there's not gonna be a
hibiscus.
lot of trees there because,
Oh, there are.
well, they won't be cleared, that's all wetland.
No, it's wetland, right.
Yeah.
I'm just saying augment and help the privacy. Yes. I did. I did.
Oh, you did already?
Mr. Carr.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name is Tom Carr. We abut the property to the east, and I was the one actually who had some correspondence with Chip last night and Jacques Belanger this morning regarding the steep slope where our common line is on that very steep slope. And I want to thank Jacques and his client for addressing that slope issue. I've had a tremendous amount of problem with my other butters along the Francistown roadside, which I won't go into, but I was out on the site last night to look at that slopes and to try and map it out, which I sent a map to Jacques this morning, which is the result of this. I did see some of the wetlands, and I think most of you know I'm also a wetland scientist. I think Josh Briand did a nice job with the wetlands out there. And for the record, we don't have any objections to the subdivision. I personally think it's laid out pretty well. I like the common driveway with the avoiding of the wetland impacts. That's it.
Thank you. Anybody else in the audience like to speak? Seeing nothing, I'll close it for public comment. The one thing that came up in the conceptual that I should have brought up earlier is your right-of-way line is, what do I want to call it, generous to the town?
We spoke
and
about that
more-
in
and
March.
More of a normal geometry to it. And we had talked about giving some kind of deed to the town for the land between the line and the road. Did you ever bring that up to selectmen to see what they thought of the whole idea? Or do you know
The
what?
road
selectmen-
agent was in favor of some of it to gain for ditch line predominantly, so they could ditch the road to keep the water off. But without a formal proposal or something in writing, it's kinda hard to do anything about it. If they wanted to deed that would be, I know that
I mean, I would propose a quick claim deed, everything
yeah, the
25
road,
feet,
yeah, that was
25
brought
feet
up,
from the
and
center.
the road agent was be in favor of something like that to make his life a little easier, so, as far as, like I said, the road maintenance.
We talked about that, I think it was in March when I was here.
Yeah, that
And,
was brought up
it
in
just
March.
kind of tidies up that whole issue.
It does.
And
I
takes
agree.
care of it and monuments it. There's no defining stone walls or anything along there, pieces of jagged things, but nothing with any real geometry to it. It just kind of formalizes that.
The second gentleman that stood up, I guess he's the first gentleman, because she's a lady, but anyway, the first is Kevin Cottrell, his name, mentioned some kind of buffer for the driveway. Would it be possible to put some kind of no-cut restriction on everything west of the wetland, between Lowell Road and the wetland? So there's no big clear cut between them?
You're talking, okay, between the actual road and the wetland?
Yes. That's
I don't think
that's the
there's-
buffer. I can't imagine it hurting anything.
I don't think there's any issue in there.
Working in there?
It's
No,
a
they
pretty
shouldn't.
tight sliver, and it's
Right,
steep.
yes.
It's also steep, so.
But the trees next to the road are what's gonna theoretically provide the buffer for him across the
Sure.
wetland up the other side.
we
It's
can
gonna be
have-
something anyway. At least it won't be nothing. Won't get clear cut and wiped out. Generally, you have a 50-foot wetland buffer labeled. It's a 25-foot wetland buffer and 50-foot wetland setback.
Okay,
You have both lines there, but you don't
yeah.
have,
There's a wetland setback and a wetland buffer. Is that what you said?
25-foot buffer, 50-foot setback. I would prefer the wetland, the side setbacks be trimmed off at the wetland setback, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So the setbacks aren't here. Because you can't build here anyway.
Well, the recorded Mylar would be a lot cleaner than that with the topo off it and everything.
Yep.
Oh my God.
I did a drive-by real quick a couple nights ago. Monday night, I think it was. Might have been Tuesday night. I don't know, one of the two. I was kind of, I didn't have a plan with me. I didn't know if you were proposing the driveway or not, or the common driveway, but that's the main reason I went by. I don't know if anybody wanted to do a site walk. I mean, there's, yeah, just given the opportunity.
Is there any reason to?
I didn't see any reason to, but I wanted to make sure, I didn't want to speak for the board. The final plan will have Josh's stamp on it, I assume? Josh Bryan's? Yeah, fine. We all know Josh, so. Was he notified?
Should have been.
Was he notified as an abutter?
Should have been, yeah.
I knew he should have been. That's why I was just asking if he
Should be on the
was.
list, yeah.
Were you notified?
Yeah, actually I was, yeah.
I don't see you or Josh on the list.
But he was notified
Okay.
because he included a self-addressed label.
Just making sure before I mess something up.
I thought that was gonna be an oops moment.
Had him.
Jock covered himself. The last two I got were he and the wetland guy.
So your driveway's wiping out any stone wall in the road?
Nope. There's no, stone wall along the road is pretty scattered. There's none in that area. There's some up, northerly of the property across from, I can't remember what it was, looks like 101, 102. And there's some short pieces here and there, but nothing continuous.
Over here, he's gonna have to cut their stone wall for the driveway.
That's not a boundary with the road, though. That's
Okay,
that's
point taken.
wall.
It's his wall.
He's allowed to wipe out his own wall, yeah. I'd like to see a note added about the wetland buffer per article, which I don't have in front of me right now. We usually have them on the plan.
Back in the 30s, or 28.
I thought it was 28 something, but I don't know. 28:9. Just copy and paste the blurb right out of the zoning.
Just describing the wetland buffer?
Yep.
Yeah.
Does anybody want to see a grading plan for the driveway on lot 358-3?
That's a shared driveway?
No, that's this one. You want to see it for the shared driveway?
I leave it to you as to what you think is necessary.
I don't think the shared driveway is going to get into the wetland buffer.
But you're concerned about this one?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so let's get it for that one.
Anybody else have any comments? I haven't heard anything from Jack or Chuck yet. Neil and I have been talking like crazy. Come on, say something.
So the only one you're concerned with, if I get this right, is the proposed driveway for lot 358-3 is for the
Yeah.
grade.
Right.
I don't see where it's
No, no.
impacting the,
Not the grade.
impacting the wetland.
The
Right,
wetland
because
buffer.
it's quite close and there's a 11-foot elevation issue, something like that.
9, I think.
9?
Yes. It's about 3 feet from the wetland buffer, the edge of it.
The driveway is now?
Yeah, I'm guessing that's about it. I got this handy scale here. I should be able to figure that out myself. Oh, jeez.
Lot 3, it's what's on the front.
Got an architect scale on this thing.
Yeah, it goes up around here. This is the one that comes up and around.
1/10 of an inch at 60 scale. Sounds like 6 feet.
6 feet from the, it's kind of in there tight, because it
In-
looks
in
like
eight
it's
or-
close
eight
to
or-
that property line on the backside too, right? It's hard to see on the smaller one, even though.
Yeah, you're right. Let's get that.
Or would we want to make a note saying something to the effect of wetland buffer to be staked out for lot?
Yeah.
Let's get the cut. Let's actually see it.
Okay. I was just thinking, okay. I don't have a problem with seeing it, that's for sure.
What do you call that?
Grading plan.
How far would it be from that back line? It doesn't look like it's giving you much room to move, to move it.
I'm trying to convert inches to 60 scale, but I don't have a 60 scale. 18 feet, 18, 20 feet?
From the
Yes.
property line?
Yeah.
So it's within the setback for that, okay. So you can't really,
That's at that spot, right.
so you can't really move it.
And the more you move it, the more cuts you're gonna get. Because the hill's going up that way. I think it can be done.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I think, I just,
Is that something we have to come back to the board for, or is that something we get a conditional on?
He's gotta come back to the board because there's so much stuff here.
I think you gotta come back because it's, to me, if we do a conditional approval, I gotta be able to say, plain and simple, like, yes, this note's fixed, yes, this is, that's more of a judgment. And
And also, there are enough changes to the notes that require language that we're gonna wanna see before we can
yeah, I
approve
think
it.
so.
Those are all pretty minor.
They are, but at the same time, the deed, I think we've got to get a draft deed down to Bill Drescher. Either we know I'm looking at Chip, but he's not gonna be here. And I don't know your name, and I know it's not Dominique.
Kelly, just
Kelly.
Dominique's okay. I don't know where you got that from.
I don't know either.
Kelly.
From now on.
You might be Dominique whether you like it or not.
Okay.
But you get a draft deed to us, she can get it down to
Sure.
Bill Drescher, have him review it. I'm
Now,
sure-
is this something we could tend to at a work session? You meet every 2 weeks, right? Or does it have to go to a regular?
Yes, we do,
meeting?
but however, a certain individual speaking right now will not be in town in 2 weeks. And the vice chairman is in Florida right now. That's why he's not here. So in 2 weeks, it's gonna be these three married gentlemen.
Well, those two are fine.
Those two are fine. He knows you pretty well, dude. I think it's gonna take Mr. Drescher longer than 2 weeks to look
Okay.
at it anyway, to be honest. But if you can draft up a deed, get it down to Chip/Kelly. Hey, that's once. I had to pause to think of it. Do we want to see any, we don't want to see, I don't think we need to see any grading in any other driveways.
No.
Should something be addressed on, is that Miss Salem? Is that correct?
Yes.
Is there any kind of a tree screening that should be retained, or there's nothing there anyway?
It's a wooded lot. Their lot's wooded near the lot line, and the house is fully wooded. It's hardwoods up where we're proposing the house site, with some hemlocks and pines, I think, towards their lot. But
You had, because they're sitting at a higher elevation than what the proposed house is gonna be at, so they're up above.
I think we're up above.
This house is
Other way
up
around.
above.
Yeah.
You're low, okay, so it's the other way, they're up above, so,
But the ground drops off in between.
yeah, so
There's
they're
a
gonna,
gully, yeah, between them, pretty sharp.
it'd be hard to put a, by the time they get to, if you put planted stuff in there, by the time we get to be a
Well, I wasn't
buffer,
thinking of
would all
planting
be long gone.
If there's something there, they could leave.
Yeah, if there's something that's big enough to leave, but.
Question, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Assuming that Ms. Salen buys that lot and no house is built on it, what happens to the obligation to build the common driveway?
It's not an obligation until you put a house on it.
Yeah.
So,
No house, they.
were she to buy that, then the driveway would not be a common driveway, it would just
Be a
stop
single.
at the first house?
Unless she wants to have a nice big circular driveway that'll go the whole way through everything.
Well, the easement would be in place.
Easement
Yeah.
would still exist.
They probably wouldn't build it beyond the needs for the second
So
lot.
that if she in the future were to sell that lot, there would be an
there would be
access
access.
through that easement for a driveway,
Yes.
then a shared driveway
Yeah,
to the lot at that time.
yeah. But the access to it would be in place, somebody would have to build the road, the driveway.
And until that time, there would be no reason, because the driveway wouldn't be more than 400 feet, there would be no obligation to put in the bypass for the fire trucks.
I guess at that point, it's just a long driveway.
I think you're still gonna be 400 feet to the house.
She's got more than 400 feet to get to this
Well,
house?
it depends where he builds it. I
Oh.
can't say that. What we got? That's 180 there, so say 180 here. This curve's 85 feet long, 260. That's 85, so you're getting close.
But it's possible,
It's possible.
depending on how he does it, that there would be no,
It is possible.
you wouldn't have to put the
Used to-
money into building that.
I-
Okay,
Since Neil mentioned the driveway easement, document. Mr. Drescher has a certain one he likes, or we like, so you might want to get a hold of Kelly
Slash Chip.
and Dominique.
Is that something?
And
we
Dominique.
need- Is that something we need to do
Yeah,
prior to our approval? Okay,
that would be a condition for sure. Is the grading gonna stay inside this 30 feet?
it should. I mean, it's 30 feet
It's
wide.
supposed to.
It's pretty wide.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to see stuff done, we'd like to address it and get, pull it all in next month.
Yep.
Yes, I agree. Why don't you do a grading on that to make sure it's gonna stay in? Just theoretically, if a guy, if somebody buys 358, and nobody's bought 358-1, and he's building the whole driveway, he can't grade outside that easement. Theoretically. So let's just play it safe.
So just that one and 3.
Yes. So we read off what I got again, or you got it?
I'm gonna look at your minutes.
The well radius on lot 358-2.
Yep.
Note 8, add in about per NFPA 13D. Note 9, add Article 36 in the zoning instead of subdivision regulations. Add a note about the wetland buffer.
Yep. Change the buffer and wetland setback titles.
Yes,
25 foot buffer, 50 on
wetland
the
buffer,
setback.
wetland setback. The no cut restriction you agreed to earlier.
Buffer along the frontage.
Oh, all of these.
Did that? What's that say?
Grading plan for
Oh, okay.
358-3. Driveway maintenance
Oh.
agreement.
Driveway maintenance agreement, yep.
No cut zone on 358-4, the one that abuts the car property.
Move the word.
Wetland, a note that
Yeah, the wetland buffer.
the wetland buffer on lots 358 and 358-1, the area between the wetland buffer and the road will not be cut.
Okay, yeah, along this frontage here.
Right.
Yes.
On both of those lots,
Yep.
right,
Sure.
right. Uh, And I don't think we decided anything on protecting Lot 69, the Salem lot.
I don't know what we can do,
Okay.
to be honest, except hope the guy builds as short a driveway as he can.
And you mentioned the well radius on 358-2, that needs to be changed?
Yep. Josh is
I think you got it. I think that's it.
What was
Oh, the
the,
common
That's gotta be
driveway
75 feet.
split has to have house markings.
yes, yeah, numbering.
Septic, and that's it. Yeah, but the house,
You said add something to note 8. What was that, the NFPA thing?
actually, the house. would be right
NFPA
next to the
13D.
well, as long as it stays away from the.
Automatic sprinkler systems should meet whatever
So
per NFPA.
so you're
13D.
bound to meet that code requirement.
Now, the driveway easement, or
Yes.
shared driveway,
Easement.
common driveway, wording, what do you want us to do with that? You want us to draw a sample deed? And,
Yeah, you can get online and steal one from Town of Weare from somebody else, so, and change the names, protect the innocent. I'm sure,
No.
Dunbarton's got a nice one. You still got it?
I used to do that one.
But this is the driveway maintenance agreement you're talking about.
it's an easement and maintenance
Anyone that's
agreement,
been
all one.
approved on.
But I thought he gets that from Drescher.
He does, but he can go online and get it cheaper.
That way Josh just has to approve it.
Right, right, he can just,
Okay,
That's it.
is that a motion? To continue to,
Move we continue this application until June
27th? Yes.
June 27th,
Month away.
2019.
Okay, thank you.
Was that a second?
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
With interest in this case, it will not be reposted, so if you want to come back, remember to come back on June 22nd.
Take the vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained? Oh, you did remember.
It's ours.
I got one in my truck.
The fish will be safe.
I know you.
Gary Chacon?
That's
Mike Brown. The guy that's walking is the building. I think it's Mike Brown.
So he's got
He said
a,
this was a Chacon subdivision. It's Brown? There's no name on it. It's just,
Yeah, signature someplace.
Was that Gary?
No, that's what I saw his name somewhere.
Mike Brown.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
There's a couple of Tacoma brothers. I don't know.
yep.
I want to throw it at you. That was just being thrown.
I didn't know if you wanted me to take it.
I use a lot of space.
Okay.
The next item on the agenda is a two-lot subdivision for Alan and Monica Kent, map 409, lot 154, east side of Chuck Street in the RA zone.
Yeah, there we go.
That's what Chuck Street is.
Can't.
Remember what it was.
What's up in that mess up there? Worthily, I mean, you know, Worthily Road, that's good.
just by the old airport.
Just before,
Just before?
yeah. There's up Chuck and low Chuck, and then the airport.
And this. What, the airport's off of,
It's on River Road.
yeah, River Road, it's, LaVenture's old.
Just past Deerhaven.
Yeah, it's right borders Deer Haven, comes up, yeah, it's LaVenture's old place, his old airport. Back in the day, yeah. I remember Russ LaVenture when he owned it. They should have called that Chuck Field, because there were more woodchuck holes in that grass strip than anything else.
Can he get a, what is this, a shared driveway?
So he's gonna try to build up here.
Where's the driveway, yeah. Before.
I don't know. Have to have him explain that one to us.
Yep. Don't see a driveway. Chuck Street.
Seems complete, except I don't see any check mark on the current land use status. Number 19.
I don't think Wendy commented on that either.
Whether this is in current use? Is it in current use? No. I guess I better put that note on there.
Did I check it off? Did I check off I did it?
No.
It must,
Huh? I didn't? Oh, okay, well, see, I didn't provide it. It's not in current use.
There's the driveway 1, driveway 2, there it is.
Fire department has no issues with the plan?
No, conservation hasn't met.
Conservation hasn't said
Vacation
anything?
Vacation again.
Yes, they're fishing.
So he's asking for a waiver for showing topography on the rear portion of the lots, same with wetlands. Don't see an issue. He's gonna build in the front, that's pretty obvious.
That's all the driveway. Looking for the driveway. Need a magnifying glass.
Yeah, we still can't see, oh boy, that's it.
So, does this mean this house is gonna be right here
So
at
many
the end of
lines,
the driveway?
yeah.
I can explain a lot of stuff, you know. You're all pondering over it. The presentation might not hurt.
I'm sure there's a full-size plan presentation there. If not, there's one came back from the coppers.
I should bring extras.
If anybody wants a full-size plan.
I should bring extras, I guess.
Sure.
Yeah, because we give them all out. All the departments that do not make comments.
I guess you
do
should,
not make comments.
or you should ask for one.
I'll have to have
You ask for
Dominique, we'll have to ask for some plans.
Says two, how much?
So I got 3. I got a bunch of them.
You want to pass one of these down? Say one?
Here we go.
That's a little.
Make sure we get the right one.
Now you can see some stuff here.
So anyway, we got a waiver request for topography and wetlands on the rear portion of the site.
Move, we grant the waiver.
Do we have a second?
So, yeah, okay, you got it.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstained? He does not have a note about the current use status on the plan. We have heard testimony that it's not in current use. Mr. Siciliano also agreed to put the note on the plan. I think we can accept it as complete with the condition that that note be put on the plan prior to approval.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstained?
Okay. Art Siciliano, representing Alan and Monica Kent, and they're here tonight. They can answer questions that I won't be able to. So this is tax lot 409, 154. It's in the rural agricultural zone. It's contains 37.46 acres. It fronts on Chick Street, which is Class 5 road, and Woodbury Road is a Class 6 road. And so this 5-acre minimum, 250 feet of frontage. And my note provided after is a little messed up there, but I'll read it to you. It got misaligned. So 154 is going to be 16.42 acres, which is the lot on the right, and have 250.43 feet of frontage. The other lot, 154.1, will be 21.04 acres and have 321.40 feet. I'll correct that note. All the driveways will conform to the driveway regulations. We're showing all the wetlands, the wetland buffer, building setbacks, 4K areas. Most of the building's gonna be done out front. You can see this middle line here, I moved it over so that, to accommodate lot 154-1 to get around that buffer. It's 25 feet from the property line to the buffer, so they can access the back of the property. So basically, that's it. It's two-lot subdivision on 37 acres. It's,
Question, Worthley Road is Class 6.
yes.
What happens, could these two lots be further subdivided? So there are two lots, each meeting the requirements on Worthley Road? And
No.
why not?
It's a Class 6 road.
It, we,
It doesn't count as frontage. Has to be a class 5 or better road to be counted as frontage.
and he couldn't get a waiver? A variance?
Variance, I
From
guess.
ZBA? So he cuts it right here, and now he's got two more lots.
If he goes for variance, yeah.
And the selectmen let him do it.
I can't imagine if we're getting the variance.
You're watching the head of the selectmen move in a lateral direction rather than.
Meaning, no.
You're not gonna get a variance to
Should we put something in
to
that
subdivide
kind
on a
of-
Class 6
No.
road, unless you bring it up to Class 5
Plus you have to
standards.
bring it up to class 5
Yeah,
standards.
you gotta bring it.
No further subdivision.
I'm trying to just get a building permit on that road to give me a hard time. Subdivision's a different story. This is the one that's 1,300 feet away from. This is the Weiss property over here that I was trying to get a building permit. Still in the
Oh, that's
process.
where we walked out to that one? This from
Yeah,
there?
that's
Oh,
the
yeah.
one. That's the
Yeah,
one
yeah.
that,
You've been there.
Yes.
Been there, done that.
Okay.
1,300 and some odd feet.
Art, could you show us where the houses are going to go? The driveways look very short.
Yeah, the building sites. It's a darker color.
Yeah, the circle right there. Yep.
Building sites are tight.
Just looking in here. Driveway, and then he's got that 75-foot radius.
So the
I
house has
think
got to
that
be somewhere in here.
gotta be, it could be right in here somewhere. Short driveway.
And the septic system,
Well,
because he's on that first lot.
No, septic's not very big.
yeah.
Oh, it's
That's
tight.
the septic?
They're gonna have to
That's the side.
design a house to fit the property.
Yep.
The, those are the sites, the places where the
building-
houses could be.
Yes.
And each of those would allow the 4,000 square feet for a septic and the 75-foot radius.
I have it, I show it all there.
I'm looking, and got the radius.
I was gonna bring them without the contours.
Where the well,
This is 4,000.
4,000 square foot does not,
It doesn't have,
is
it can
not,
be in the
a leach
setback.
field is not 4,000 square feet, is what I'm trying
No.
to say.
No,
A leach field's about 8 by 40.
No, but you still have to show 4,000.
Yes.
Yes. But it can be in the setbacks.
Yes, it can be within 10 feet of the property line.
So he's got it marked 4,000. He's got a spot for it right there. Both lines.
So he couldn't put anything in here because he's got his well.
You can put your house in your well radius.
You could put it, yeah, you could put the house right on top of the well.
We just designed a house the other day. in
As long as
about
it's
5 minutes to
75
fit.
feet from the septic system.
Right.
Okay.
And if you're dumb enough to put your well too close,
Yeah,
you
there's
can
a-
sign a
there's
release
room.
and get it.
Yeah.
Okay, too.
There's lots-
Saves you on piping to the house.
there's not loads of them. There's
Are there
room.
any issues with this?
No. Don't need, you got a
No, this
gaps.
shows, yeah.
He has gaps in the stone wall where the driveways are gonna
This
be.
one shows the radius a little bit, this one, 4,000 feet, a little bit smaller than what you got
Art-
there, but.
Are the driveways sited so that they're in gapways?
Yeah. Can you see the gap with it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Would you be opposed to a note in the plan, no further subdivision? Or would your clients be opposed to a note, no further subdivision?
No, I don't think they should have to. What if this ever gets built up?
You can't subdivide it.
Well, that's why we're not putting it on there.
Yeah, that's the concern.
Why is it a concern? If somebody brings this up to a class 5 road, where's your concern?
That changes it. It's no longer class 6.
They have a class 5 road there, they should be able to subdivide this.
My concern is that prior to that time, an effort will be made to subdivide, and we'll have more houses on a Class 6 road.
Well, then the town must have changed the rules.
No. The rules are the same, they're just not.
Well, getting a driveway to an existing lot on a Class 6 road is a little different, a lot different, than trying to get a driveway up a Class 6 road to a proposed lot.
Well, it's not actually a driveway because it's a class 6 road, so trying to get a subdivision off of it.
Yeah, one, you're putting a driveway to a proposed lot, but two, you're gonna make the Class 6, you're gonna have to get a waiver to
Yeah.
change the definition of frontage to include a Class 6 road for that.
It's not a driveway, it's a road, it's a town road, so to call it a driveway is a little different.
I tried.
But they have, like you said, the regulations, you can't subdivide on a class 6 road, so, because of the front.
Those are the rules now, so,
Yeah.
I mean, why, we're trying to
But if somebody
do something for future
wants
rules.
to bring it up to class
I don't
5
think that's
specs of the
right.
town, and it gets accepted as that, then it now changes it from a class 6 to a class 5 road, so then,
And they just need a driveway permit.
then they just need the driveway permit after they subdivide the lots.
To try to make Neil feel a little better, the definition of frontage is the distance along the lot line abutting a public highway, excepting limited access highways as defined by NHRSA 230:44 and Class 6 highways, or a road shown on an approved, recorded, and bonded subdivision plat. So a Class 6 highway is does not constitute frontage. So I see we need oops, anybody from the public like to comment? Whew, almost messed that up. Hearing none, we'll close it for public comment. So we have a note for current use and we need the monument set
And I gotta fix that note there.
and fix,
Align the,
yeah, your whole alignment of note 3. Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the subdivision, adding note stating the site, the property is not in current use. Fixing note 3 to be more legible, I guess?
Yeah.
Or whatever we want to call it for, you gotta reword it because it says provided after lot line adjustments, that's for after subdivision. And then change the
Oh, yeah.
column for
Jeez.
409-154-1. And a third condition of monuments to be set.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Congratulations. What is this?
Got 2 more?
Yes, we do.
They're not on the agenda.
Oh, yeah.
Brad's got 2 more.
Lot line adjustment.
Next item on the agenda is a corrective plan for Proctor and Raymond on map 201, lot 14 and 10 and 14 in the residential and village district. North Star Highway and Reservoir Drive.
This is a do-over.
yeah, I'm here basically because, the assessor didn't like my area that I put on there. It was 200ths different than the previous plan. So I amended that, and I corrected the lines along, lot 20114 there. There was a,
Which numbers and areas lines we talk about?
the area of, lot 14. I think before it was,
The 48 acre one.
48, yeah. And it was 200's different, whatever it was on the previous plan that you guys approved. So we're just following the corrected plan.
So none of the lines are changing, you're just changing the area calculations?
Well, the lines along lot 14.2, there's another plan. There was a lot line adjustment plan, so I just corrected those lines. But the areas, the lines are basically the same as they were on another plan. It has nothing to do with what was approved between lot 20110 and 20114, I guess, which was what the plan that you approved was all about.
Plan, okay. Do we have a copy of the other plan?
I didn't bring it.
Here? No.
Oh, I corrected note 5 because I had the wrong reference to one of the plans.
I remember Wendy saying something about this.
What would happen out if you hung your plan you have in front of you up and kind of
It's the same plan you
led
had.
us through this? If you took that plan,
Walk us through it.
yeah, well, I don't want to see a plan, I want to have you just kind of explain it.
What? The plan that's recorded?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a copy of it in the file. Which are now in a state of chaos. Good.
So,
Bring them back to
The area on the previous plan was this one's 200s more,
200s,
200s. The assessor noticed.
so it's .173 on the original?
No, 155,
155.
155.
Yeah.
maybe 195, I don't know.
Okay, that's okay.
And there was a plan number that was wrong here. I think I had 38057 or something.
But none of the lines have changed?
On the previous, I'm saying that this line here,
Yep.
there was a previous lot line adjustment. And I didn't show it on that, on the
That's
plan
right.
that was approved. So I'm showing the lines that are actually approved from another plan. But again, it's immaterial to what was done on this.
So you had this line from an old plan?
Yeah, I had it from an old plan, and this is, that's now correct.
Now there's a new
to the
plan.
newer plan, yeah, to a newer plan.
And that's what changed the acreage 200s?
No, that didn't change the
It
area
has nothing
at
to do
all.
with that.
When I ran this through the computer, it spit out the number that I had. And I used it.
And the assessor's
Didn't
computer
match.
said something different.
Yeah, 200's difference.
Okay.
I go, whatever, I'll do it.
200s.
I make a move to accept the application as complete.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Roll the monument set? Yeah, we already
I
signed
didn't do
it
it.
once. You changed a couple
Oh, it
numbers.
was all done.
You want to make the motion, want me to?
Move we approve the application.
Second.
Discussion. Any comment from the public?
Get ahead of
All in
yourself.
favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstained. Done.
Yeah, I got a little ahead of myself. The people sitting out there, though, kind of concerns me sometimes.
They're not
We
usually?
have an audience, well, not that many. You'll find this out. Hang around a while,
Okay.
please. Next item on the agenda is a lot line adjustment for Therian and White at map 412, lot 194, 195, east side of South Stark Highway in the RA zone.
That yours too, Art? Oh,
Has to be Arch, nobody else here?
What
well,
the hell is this?
Brookshire.
Anybody need a larger one?
Remember that one?
Wait a second.
Do you want a larger pen?
Software mobile harbor. I don't need one. Because this is pretty,
looks like it's pretty cut and dry.
mobile home park. Oh, I see what's going on here now.
It's mobile home park, yeah.
Well, this 22 acres has needed 50 feet of frontage for a long time.
You were here before with this,
This
weren't
is
you?
it.
Yeah, we're taking that little corner off the trailer park.
Yeah, you were taking it off the trailer park
Oh,
on
we
the
were
other side.
trying, and I don't know if we ever came, did I come through with it?
Yeah, you were here about that.
Yeah, and there was improper notification, so the thing got withdrawn and you never brought it back.
Really? Okay.
No, the officers of the trailer park agreed to do it without letting the people in the trailer park know about it,
Yeah.
and it fell apart
Oh,
that
that's
way.
what, yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah, that would fell apart that
They were
way.
all supposed to, yeah, right.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. And then
No,
there was-
it's
and
all
then
coming
somebody-
back to me
oh, and
now.
then they said, we're not giving any land away. That's what happened.
Yes.
When they got caught.
That's why people get notified.
That's how you sit in the board for too long.
And this had a variance at one point in time too, so, but they didn't do it, so. they didn't
Talk
use it.
about,
Anyway.
So,
Anyway, we gotta accept this thing as complete.
Right here.
We gotta accept this thing as
Yeah.
complete first.
Oh. You gotta do the.
Yeah, we gotta cross our eyes every once in a while.
Yeah, there's waivers.
Cross our eyes and
this
dot our
says it's a
Ts.
lot line adjustment.
It is.
Okay.
yeah.
We're not
20
creating any
for-
more lots, Neil.
25 square feet.
Big enough to park your car on.
It's got a waiver request.
No, I don't think so.
25 square feet, yeah.
It's not, 25 square feet, but it's a triangle, so
Oh, yeah, so
it's 5 by 10.
you put your,
It's 5 by 10.
put your scooter on it.
I move we grant the waiver requested.
I'll second it.
Discussion, I want to add that waiver for the minutes is for contour soils, wetlands. Show setback on plan of lot, what do you mean? Oh, and show setbacks. What? Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstained?
Goes back to 1980.
Move we accept the application as complete.
Second.
I have a discussion item for Mr. Chip, since we always seem to have this problem. I believe with the South Weare Mobile Home Park, do we have to notify the,
Homeowners Association?
the owner of the park and officers of the sport co-op? How does that work?
That was the board,
Yeah,
the executive board of the park.
something with them.
It's something weird with parks.
Like, on your list, didn't you?
Yes,
list The management company that runs.
Southware Mobile Home Co-op. It was
Yeah,
notified, there's a
that's-
notification on your list.
Yeah, that's why I'm questioning it.
And there should be another one other one. Was down there.
Notify the town of Weare, we own a lot in there, as in the butter. Oh, CDI Investments LLC?
Yeah,
Yep, they were notified.
I think that's the other organization down
I thought we went through who we had to notify.
It shows that, it says that they got notified.
I think what happened the last time was the board down there did not notify any of the residents.
How would you know if they ever do that?
Not unless somebody,
Who's gonna follow up on that?
They're supposed to come,
Who's supposed to come? Oh,
the people wishing justice to be dispensed.
For purpose, RSA 672:3, the definition of a butter partway down, for purposes of receipt of notification by a municipality of a local land use board hearing in the case of an abutting property being under a manufactured housing park form of ownership as defined in RSA 205A:1, comma, Roman numeral 2, the term abutter includes the manufactured housing park owner and the tenants who own the manufactured housing which adjoins or is directly across a street or stream from the land under consideration by the local land use board. So to me, that means the people who own the trailers abutting,
To be notified?
abutting this lot.
well, they own the trailers, but they don't own the land they sit on.
Right. The tenants who own
They
manufactured.
don't
It's the
own
co-op.
the co-op. They,
No.
well, I mean, I'm saying, they don't individually own the land, because we just went through that with the,
But the people who own the trailer has to be notified.
I don't know.
Would
You
like
don't
to
even know
put
who
it on?
lives there, because there's no, you'd have to go to the park and get that information from, and that changes, like,
I'm sure whoever's trailer is getting taxed for that trailer sitting there.
well,
Actually, it's not my problem, so I don't care. It's Art's problem. I knew it because I went through this in Concord 3 times. It's a pain. Would you like to withdraw your motion?
Yes, I withdraw my motion.
Would you like to withdraw your application? You want us to,
Yes, sir.
all for 25 square feet.
I just know there's nobody here, and everybody in that park would be here if they were notified properly. 'Cause they were
They
last
would?
time. Yeah, they were last time.
Oh, yeah, well, they would be, because it was their land.
Well, yeah, but
This isn't their land.
a couple of people testified had a
Is
trailer
that coming
inside
off,
the
it's coming off the corner of the driveway, basically, is where that's coming from, right? Right there.
No, it's not their land, it's, yeah.
Is it
It's on
on
the
the
It's on the
other.
other
Oh,
side.
it's the other one that's up in back of where, well, it used to be
It's
Trimbers
over
in
here,
the
the other
front,
one
right?
is on this corner.
It was Trimbers in the front, and that's the
All
other one.
right,
on
so
the
I
back.
have to withdraw, I can't just continue because I was.
We can't accept it as complete. But we will,
And he gets re-notify without refiling?
yes, I don't think it needs to repeat.
I'll just, yeah, I mean, the whole application's there, we'll just notify you
Notify,
notify,
yeah,
basically.
so that- that-
It's not a continuance, but it's a, continue to notify.
And since it is a co-op, does he have to notify everybody that's in it, or only the immediate abutters along that
I closed my book,
piece at the
Chip.
bottom?
He said, he just said,
Thank you.
the people who abut the property, the,
So that's
The
just
trailer,
guy- that's
The
just
trailers.
The guy on the corner.
no, it's
No.
everybody.
Two of them.
up that first
Well,
road, there's probably,
Yeah, but he owns the land up there,
Right,
so they're not abutters, because this lot line adjustment only affects that corner.
no, it doesn't.
No, all these trailers abut this property. How about out here?
672.
Well, if you're using that same logic, then all the ones up at the top abut it too.
I
these two?
I think everybody that butts the property line.
yeah. Which aren't
So
that
anybody
many.
Anybody that's like here.
Yeah.
Nobody out there.
The term abutter includes a manufactured
Well,
housing
probably
park
what-
owner and the tenants who own manufactured housing which adjoins or is directly across the street or stream from the land under consideration by the land use board. The land under consideration is the whole lot.
It's much less expensive and safer to over-notify than under-notify.
So you're saying everybody in the park?
I'm reading you the RSA that says that the tenants who own manufactured housing which adjoins or is directly across the street or stream from the land use under consideration. Let me explain to you what I did in Concord. Yeah, we were working over here. You had housing units here, then a road, then housing units. We did not notify anybody over there.
Yeah, just the ones that are close.
Yes,
Yeah, so the ones that are,
Whose mobile home sites actually touch
Yeah,
The boundary.
Right.
it's probably about a
That's
dozen.
the boundary, but
Yeah.
there's a building right there. It's the closest property.
Probably
I
what?
would err on spending, I would err on
All
spending
the
10
close
bucks.
units to, all the close units to.
Be what, about
to the
8?
land.
8 or 10?
Ay, ay, ay.
We started this.
Sunny Hills Trailer Park, down the south, it used to be called Sunny Hills, down the south end of town, across from all.
So Mr. Siciliano has withdrawn the lot line adjustment.
The other little lot down here was Trippers, that other one on the right of the road.
Well, it's very big, too.
And they're trying to get a piece to get
That's
the
it?
lot line adjustment, get 25
Let's go
square
do
feet
minutes.
for the driveway part.
We got one set of minutes somewhere.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. Well, if there's a certain distance, yeah, they start up. There's a couple up in here, they get some tucked up, but he's going up in here someplace, so whatever abuts it. Whatever abuts the main property, like where the whole property is, their whole property line, even though it's down here, well, it butts some of those trailers up through here.
We have no application, so ask him what he's gonna do.
We have minutes from May 9th if you want to review them.
I didn't even get them, so.
You didn't look at them.
No, I didn't get them.
They got forwarded.
No, they weren't sent, because I got them.
I didn't see them, so, I mean, I didn't see them come up on the email, so I would have read them. I got some from 2018, and that's the one I was asking you about. What's this about somebody?
They all went out.
I'm good with page 1.
I'll go on the town webpage and pull them up.
Our expert here is taking care of everything.
Well, with
We're in
that,
the old mail list. Anything
well,
goes to
I
the
got,
planning board,
I
you
got
know,
some and I didn't before, so that's what I'm saying.
Talk to the IT people, if
Yeah, that's,
you ever seen them.
I'll just go on the town website and pull them up.
I'll tell you the corrections I got while Neil's looking at his. On page 2, 5th line down, starts out the surveyor. Instead of the surveyor, can you say Mr. Siciliano?
May 9th.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5th line down.
I don't care.
Can we have them get out of here?
Yeah, I was teaching school. I was teaching.
Can't close the door, but have them go down the bottom steps. Yes, instead of the surveyor, Mr. Siciliano.
I'm not gonna worry about reading them then.
3 more lines down, it says 3 spruce trees. After 3 spruce trees, can you say near the building? And 6 juniper shrubs to the left of the sign and 4 to the right, as shown? Instead of a building, it's of sign.
Sergeant at arms. Neil's gonna get you a 45 and a rock.
So 3 spruce trees. I have a 38.
Oh, whatever works.
Excuse me, and then I didn't hear the last part.
I don't have to worry about
2
that.
to
I
left
wasn't here anyway.
of sign
Oh, okay.
instead of building.
If you're gonna shoot something.
Number 6,
do it
DES septic
larger than
approval.
40 caliber.
That's what I got on that page.
They
Yeah.
bounce off.
Well, that's all I have.
Okay, I got it.
Well, the only thing else I have on the next page, Mr. Fillmore wasn't present,
105.
so I think I made the motion. I'm not sure.
Okay.
So it's the second and fourth, maybe? Thursday.
I have a couple of issues. Working backward, page 2, item 4,
Yes.
3 lines up at the end, requiring of removal of a stone wall. Should be, delete the of. And then, didn't we recommend a certain number of feet that should be in here?
30-foot total. It's always 30 feet total.
No, but we had, there was a specific recommendation here, and it was it more than one, they had 2 driveways, right?
3.
Yeah,
Okay.
but two required removal, or did all 3?
3.
All 3 did. One of them had a tree and some.
One of them
They
needed,
came to the Board of Selectmen too.
two of them already had gaps in the stone walls, they were making bigger, and the third one was complete removal.
Yeah.
Selectmen already approved it?
Yep. Way ahead of you.
Mylar sign recorded.
Done.
They're at the Board of Fireworks now for their passing zones.
Yeah, for the final. I think only one of them needed a passing.
Yeah. One was super long.
Yeah, the first one.
I was thinking, for the one for the shared driveway, that's 30 feet wide, so I don't think you're gonna need a passing zone in there.
Okay.
On that one we looked at earlier.
How about this, gentlemen? That the proposed driveway locations, plural, selected, comma, requiring removal of stone wall for an opening of 30 feet for each of the 3 lots, comma, be approved. So it's clear that we're approving 3 openings, each to be 30 feet. I know it's already been done, but let's.
Two of them already had openings, they
Right.
just widened it, and it wasn't that much to widen them out to
Exactly.
30 feet. The other one had to be a 30-foot removal.
Sounds good to me.
Moving to number 3, at the very end where it says the chair signaled the motion.
Oh, yeah, that was weird.
The chair asked for a motion.
Where is it?
Under Mulholland,
Where it said, you see number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, above number 1, the 3rd line above that at the
page
end.
2.
This is on page 2. The chair signaled the motion.
Okay, I have it.
Take
The
that out.
chair asked for a motion,
Oh, is that what it is?
and you don't really need to have that. And then Mr. Kirk moved, et cetera. Let's see. On number 2, the conceptual review, 5 lines up from the bottom of that paragraph. Responsibly parked cars? What's that?
Mr. Morley used those terms specifically, so. that,
Responsibly parked cars.
He said he would institute responsibly parked cars, not.
Irresponsibly parked cars.
so that
Irresponsibly parked cars could
verbiage
block the
from
road.
applicant.
Refresh my memory. I thought he was parking the cars on the south side of the road. But if there was insufficient space there, then he had a cleared area on the north side of the road where he could park more cars.
Responsibly.
Responsibly
Responsible.
parked cars.
Yes, obviously. Because when we see the application, he's gonna have to show us where these 80 or 100 spaces are located. Okay. Responsibly parked cars. Oh, town council is spelled wrong.
Okay,
Counsel.
thank you.
Jack serves on a town council, CIL, called the Board of Selectmen, but the lawyer is SEL.
Just use attorney, easier to spell.
ATTNY,
Oh,
period.
you did. Very good, thank you.
Esquire.
Okay.
Is that a motion?
I move we approve the minutes of May 9, 2019 as amended.
Discussion. All in favor? Aye.
Abstain. I was not here.
You can still vote.
Okay. Are you going to declare us adjourned, Mr. Chairman, or would you like a motion?
No, I'm worried that you'll go and supersede me somehow and declare that I can't do that, so I'm gonna wait for a motion.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor? Aye.